and we are coming to you live from the Intercontinental Hotel Tahiti. We're on our way tomorrow to join the Paul Gauguin cruises to cruise around Tahiti, and we represent the Signature Travel Network. Now, Signature Travel Network is a consortium of travel agencies that join together to bring their clients special privileges. And one of the special privileges is hosts like John and I, my husband, and what we do on board the ship is we assist clients with anything that they need, as well as offer a cocktail party and group dining. Some of the other amenities that are included if you book with the Signature Travel Network agency is that you would get an onboard credit, or you would sometimes get a one-day full tour in one of the special islands. So it's a wonderful program, and John and I have enjoyed hosting for this, and we get to meet awesome people from around the world, and it's really a lot of fun, would you say?
I would say it's definitely fun. Do you want to talk about how we got here?
Oh yeah. Well, of course, life is not normal with COVID, but so we live in Florida. So the cruise is leaving out of Papeete, but we first needed to fly to LA, and then from LA board a flight to Papeete. So because of COVID, we actually had to have a COVID test in LA, which thank goodness was fine. Very simple. You can actually sign up on the website for the LA airport and set up a time. There was another free COVID site testing. It was a nightmare. There were people lined up around the block. So I highly suggest that you do that if you're coming anywhere that requires a pre-COVID test to make an appointment. So we spent the night in LA and at the Marriott courtyard at the airport. And then we got our test that morning, and then that night we boarded Air Tahiti Nui, which is pretty much the exclusive airline to get to Papeete. And that left at 10 of 11 at night. And I had a little snafu, which I want to explain for those of you that might have what happened to me. So,
First,
go ahead.
let's just in the world of COVID, everything has a certain amount of uncertainty.
Right.
And before we left, we flew United Airlines, and we were hearing about the thousands of United Airline flights that were canceled. And so we were kind of watching to make sure that our flight wasn't canceled. And we had a stopover in Houston, and there's uncertainty with every flight, including the one out of West Palm and the one out of Houston. But we made it safely. The flights were on time, and so we're now in Los Angeles for the purpose of this discussion. And Judy will talk about the getting the testing done.
Okay, so on Air Tahiti Nui, there are 3 classes of service. There is general coach, there's premium economy, and there's what they call business class, which really is first class, and it's the Dreamliner series aircraft. So we booked, for economic reasons, we booked premium economy. And a little hint about that was we were told to get to the airport 4 hours early, which we did, and they weren't open yet. The check-in desk was not open yet. The line was around the corner. But what wasn't clearly marked is that if you're in premium economy, you get to check in the same desks as the business class. And so while John was in line, I went to inquire, and that saved us a tremendous amount of time. So we got to the check-in desk, and as soon as I received the information from Air Tahiti Nui that we would have to go on the ETIS website to fill out the immigration forms for COVID for Tahiti, I did it immediately, which most people would do. And unfortunately, that was not prudent, because as it turns out, we got to check in, the barcode that they had given me was expired. So after a little bit of frantic on my John kept me calm.
A lot of frantic.
A lot of frantic. I thought
reasons, yep.
at first they weren't gonna let us get on the flight, but we had to step aside, and we had a lovely Air Tahiti Nui agent who helped us out, and I had to reapply all over again, and I had to
reapply.
we
yes.
both had to, and we had to pay the fee, which was 5,000 francs, which is $50. $50. So we finally, now meanwhile, I had decided I didn't want to be in with the general population at the airport, so we actually paid $60 each to go in the Air Tahiti Nui lounge, which, as it turns out, is the Star Alliance lounge, which was beautiful. But because of that little snafu, we actually only had an hour in the lounge, but it was still worth it. So I suggest that you definitely take advantage of that, because it was really lovely, and then we could board.
When we had to reapply, this Air Tahiti Nui representative stepped us through it, but it still took about a part of an hour to get registered and to get the confirmation barcode back. So that took an hour out of our lounge time.
Right, which would have been amazing, because when we were in the premium economy, we whizzed right up to the desk, but unfortunately, so a word to the wise, make sure that we would have been better off just doing it that morning and not doing it in advance. So those of you traveling on Air Tahiti Nui, don't jump the gun and don't register right away. So once we got the ETIS barcode, then we were good to travel. Now that barcode you should also print out. It's easier, because when you get to the airport in Tahiti, you're gonna need that again. So either download that onto your cell phone or do whatever is convenient for you, but you need to have that ready. Not even to mention the vaccine card, which I'm sure you're all very familiar with at this point. And there actually is several sites, cdc.gov, where you can register your vaccine card. But we also found in LA that we couldn't even go out to eat without showing our vaccine card. So you want to have that very handy. So we got to the airport in Papeete, and we were expecting it, but we weren't told specifically it was going to happen. We had to get another COVID test, and it was the rapid test, 15-minute test. So they wrote the time on our
It is a PCR test.
yeah, they put a sticker on my passport and wrote the time down, and they snake you through this maze so that there's 15 minutes go by, and by the time you claim your luggage, there's someone there with the results of tests of people that have failed. Now, you gotta pray your name is not on that list. Thank goodness our name was not on that list.
It did appear that some people were set aside, and we don't know for sure if that were people who failed, but there were definitely people who were set aside.
Right, and the other interesting thing is, I've not had a COVID test in Florida for quite a while, and this was we had to get both sides of our nose tested. And the same thing.
That's normal, I think.
Is that normal? Okay, well anyway. So we're at the hotel, which is absolutely magnificent. If you're wondering what the prices are like here.
They're magnificent too.
They're magnificent too. Drinks are at the bar are kind of starting at $20.
But there's a happy hour in which you can get a select number of drinks for half that price.
Right. The food is amazing, but it's expensive. So yesterday we had breakfast and dinner. Well, a snack for dinner. And would you say our total spending yesterday was?
$130 maybe.
$130, which is kind of low because we only had 2 meals, and the second meal was a snack. So if you should compare the prices when you book your hotel, of course your signature travel agent can do that for you, and you might want to consider getting the meal plan. So we're here and relaxing, and it's just beautiful and peaceful, and the staff here is amazing. The Tahitian people are just incredibly lovely hosts, and we went down this morning in anticipation of getting a taxi to town and having another COVID test that we need for Paul Gauguin to board tomorrow. Now, there are tests available at the pier with Paul Gauguin, but then you must wait an hour before boarding. So they suggest you get the test the night before. So we lucked out in that there was a medical group that had arranged here to give the hotel staff their booster shot. And when we went to the concierge to book our taxi into town, he took us down to where she was, and she very cordially, generously offered us the test, which will be emailed tonight with the results. So that was pretty simple. So because Paul Gauguin overnights in Papeete and it's right downtown, we decided to forego going into town today. A taxi into town would have cost us $20. There is a hotel shuttle. It runs several times a day, but because we're going to be overnighting in Papeete on the ship, we decided to just relax here and enjoy the resort. So, anything you want to add?
No, just that we're very fortunate in that the company that runs all the tests apparently was here on site testing some of the staff here. And so they gave us the test, which saves us probably half a day. It's worth checking with, when you check in, to find out if there are any arrangements with the company to be on site. So definitely worth checking out, because like I say, it saved us half a day.
Well, we met another couple, actually I met another couple this morning, and they said that they had actually prearranged it with the company to come directly to their hotel room and give them the test. And there was no extra charge for that. So you learn something every day along the way. But we're just going to relax today and enjoy this beautiful resort. And we will check in with you when we get to the ship tomorrow and let you know what that process looks like for embarkation. So until tomorrow, we'll see you then. Thanks for watching.
Thank you.